record. Welcome to Mastermind Session 2, as I like to call it, French for deux. And today we want to, the focus today, at the very end of today's session, James, you are taking the Mastermind on as the captain of the Mastermind. So stay tuned for that. That's pretty exciting. But first, a few announcements. Announcement number one, Coaching Business in the Box has officially launched. I know it's been hanging out in your product library for some time now, and it is now hot off the press of 4 different modules here, over 21 different templates, some of them emails that you can literally copy, paste into your email sending machine, customize a couple things, and hit send to your clients. Now, because I'm such a clarifier, you'll notice that the first system is all about system organization, file organization. All of these sections, at least part 1, 2, and 3, well, part 1, yes, for sure, but part 1, 2, and 3, all has a flow chart diagram of the flow of how a client should go through the system and the different templates you'll use where. So my hope is that it illustrates perfectly for you exactly what to use when and where. Now you'll notice the templates have a placeholder for your logo, for name, date, pricing, all of that stuff. Of course, that's stuff that you've got to decide. A couple of the templates I accompany with a sample. I gave you an example of what I do, but most of them I wanted to give you more of a clean slate there. More or less, the information you did in level 1 of what we do here, the coaching certification, all the work is done. All you got to do now is plug your prices in, plug your logo in, and then every now and again it says, and add a personalized message here. So it gives you an idea. I also left a little bit of my personalized messages for a few of my templates in there. I don't, like one of them's like, hey, thank you for your vulnerability today. That was really powerful. You know, I'm excited to hear more about your life. I changed that for everybody. So don't know, like, wow, that sounds really personal. You'll go back to your emails and be like, he said that to me. It's probably your email. So I was really sensitive because some of these templates had your own information on them. I was like, okay, got to get rid of that. Got to get rid of that. So all the same, there's a video that accompanies part 1, 2, 3, and a series of bonus systems. So they'll walk you through it. I think the longest one is the client system because it's about 15 different templates that I walk you through. It's the most intense section because there's so much that brings somebody from a prospect to a full-on client. The coaching system, once they're a coaching client, it's pretty much rinse and repeat. That one's pretty short, but the part 2 client system is about 17 minutes. It's the longest video. So to give you an idea, they're really short. I just get in there and show you exactly how to navigate the system. And then you'll find off to the right-hand side of the Kajabi platform are all the documents to download. Now, I do want to mention these documents are in Word, Excel, and then there's a PDF, which everybody can open. Do any of you not have Word and Excel? Microsoft product. Okay. As long as you have it, that's going to be one of the things that
compatible with Google Docs.
Oh yeah, any of these you can easily drop into, just download it, drop into Google Docs, and then have the Google
formatting
Docs.
Might be a little bit off.
Yeah, and that's always going to be expected anyway, because I've noticed between like people who I've hired to edit my work or my coach, as I send even Word documents back and forth, the formatting's just a little bit off. Like the page numbering is a little bit off and so forth. So that's expected. But I added page breaks to hopefully fix some of that stuff. So my hope is, is to really arm you with a plug and play system. Thank you for choosing to invest in yourself. And thank you for the product idea. It came from the 3 of you. And I'm really, really stoked to have this finally launched because I'm ready to take this on a larger scale. So just know that's ready to rock and roll. If you have questions, please let me know. Training call format. What we're going to be doing today is positive review, a little bit of coaching boot camp. And I actually reviewed, Michelle, your coaching boot camp from 2 weeks ago, and I had a good laugh. It was so good. You did so good. And so
Jen, you missed
then,
it. Is that recorded that she could
Did
watch
you
it?
watch?
It's recorded. You can download it. Just to know, on the Kajabi platform, just if you didn't know, you can download the Kajabi app and have all the videos and all the goodies on your phone. So the Kajabi app on your phone is really cool. You'll just log in and it will bring up whatever courses you've already enrolled in. So you can watch through that. But you'll notice in your course, you have the course topics, and then you have recorded courses. So you'll just want to always go to the recorded section for all the recordings of this.
It's a treat, Jen. You'll want to watch it.
Yeah.
Did this happen in the call 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, you know, like when we get to pick a number and one of us gets to coach, but I didn't get to pick a number. He said, "You're it." And then it was like, holy shit.
I'm saying I missed that.
It was good. We shouldn't even spoil it for her.
No, you get to go watch it. It's grand.
It is one of my most challenging situations I've ever been in as a coach, and I was happy to be able to duplicate that. So today we are going to be continuing on with the 7 steps to results with your own goals. Plus, at the very end, I'm going to teach you how to utilize this tool as a coach. This is one of my go-to tools. I would say even more than InBit, like mind, heart, and gut, more than belief work. This is like a backbone structure to a lot of the conversations I have and the long-term aspect of my coaching. So Mastermind Level 2, what we're doing right now, it's going to be much more about coaching tools. Thank you for submitting your surveys on what you want to see. There's going to be some business tools intermingled with this, but where Level 1 was a lot about the structure of my business, now it's like, let's arm you with tools and systems to make your business thrive. So that's really, we're going to be continuing on in that process here today. But first, a 10-second positive review. Michelle, we'll let you go first. What's happening to you, for you, and because of you? Jen, you're on deck.
I've been thinking about this a lot because I'm like, holy cow. First off, my first positive review, and I don't know that all of you will get it, but banana clips are back in. And I rock a banana clip, and I'm owning that. I'm so happy about banana clips coming back in. That's my first positive review. Second positive review is I get to leave for Houston, Texas tomorrow to go see my son for 5 days, and I'm so excited about that. And I have 9 new Foot Zone clients.
Oh, wow!
Boom.
How does that feel?
Crazy. Oh, and I found 3 runaways yesterday. Boom! It's been a week.
3, 1. What does that mean, runaways?
There were 3 girls that ran away from a group home here, and they couldn't find them. So the caseworkers called me, and the group home called me, and I found them in 2 hours and took them to lunch and then delivered them back to the group home. It's a beautiful thing.
Wow, that is incredible.
Been an awesome
on all 3 fronts. Wow, 3 fronts, 3 deep. Love it. Jen, positive review.
Wow. My head is still above water. I'm doing really good at treading and moving forward slowly.
Love it.
I have become a good firefighter, but I'm ready to retire that. And I'm getting a new desk today for my new office.
Your background's gorgeous.
Yeah.
I love it. James, positive review.
I kind of feel like that as well. Like I feel survival mode as well. So like I'm just happy to be here. But there feels like a switching happening. It feels like it's moving. There's movement that is like on deck, ready to go. With just life, because I've been just meh for a while, and so hopefully there's a little bit more movement going on soon.
Love it. Cool. My positive review is tomorrow I'm launching a webinar on curious questions, and I'm really excited about that. In fact, anytime I do something that's big, I don't know, I've never done before, I create a checklist for it afterwards of what did I learn. I know. And now I've done 2 of those video podcasts with podcasts. Now I've got a pretty slick system of plug and play as far as how I do my promotion now and how do I set up all the technology, and it's pretty intricate, but it's I'm excited. So the webinar, the difference between my podcast and my webinars, my podcasts are where I have 2 guests on and they share 3 points in 10 minutes. and it's themed on a specific specialty. And in my webinars, it's just me teaching value. And this starts my lead into Coach Lead Grow Level 1. So that's pretty exciting stuff. Thing number 2 is, and more of an announcement, I'll be launching the Coach Lead Grow influencer system, which is the ambassador system, soon. So once it's launched, you will be the first to know about it, meaning you'll all get a link, a specific link. So if you'd like to refer people to Coach Lead Grow, any of the products, then you would get a commission from that. All right. So one thing at a time, but we're moving fast, which is exciting. So that's my positive review. And I'll tell you, my best friend right now is pronoia, because there's a lot of stuff that just can't get done. I cannot possibly digest in the amount of time that I have. And pronoia means in the regards of, you know what, whatever doesn't get done, it's not supposed to get done. Fantastic. Like, everything is here to support me in this arena. So I'm very grateful for that. Let's jump into accountability. Oh yes, Michelle. Do you have a recording of your last one with Jamie and stuff? Because I wasn't able to jump on. Yes. In fact, I'm going to be moving everything to, I believe, YouTube, a YouTube channel that has all the podcasts on there, so it's really easy to find. Cool. Currently, at this point, I can remind me at the end, and I'll share with you the link. It's on coachleadgrow.com, where I have anybody and everybody register. There's also, actually, if you go to leadershipintegration.com, in the upper right-hand corner, there'll be a button, video podcast. Okay. You click on that, it'll have all the upcoming sessions and the past recordings that you can go on there and just watch. Cool. It was really great. Really a great podcast. I was really happy about that. So yeah, I'm really excited too. So at the end of August, I'm doing a focus in on authenticity. I think I'm going to gear it towards 2 female specialists, like 2 women coaches, and I'm going to have a more of a higher focus on women in authenticity and women empowerment. And then early September, I'm bringing on 2 guests who are specialists in the LGBTQ community, focusing on diversity and inclusion. So I'm really excited. I want to make this quick announcement as well. We burned the pancake together, all 4 of us. If you're like, hey, Doug, I want to get back in the game again, I would like to be a guest, let me know, because this is there's a lot of things I've changed, and a lot of venues and technology-wise that my hope is you coming back on would be great, especially in the new format. So if you're interested in that, let me know. So momentum. Now, something new in the system here is you're reporting your momentum in the system. So in the course topics the week after, or the topic right after that, we'll always have that session accountability. You'll just click on the button itself and then just report your accountability from the previous week. The cool thing about this is, one, it gives it in the system. It emails me automatically your accountability, that also emails you your responses. So you will have a record over time of all of your responses and exactly what you entered in. I'm keeping the accountability pretty light. Usually something you enter in and then a yes/no question for the most part, depending on the week. But accountability is going to be submitted through the course as well. And I get that we're going to take a second to kind of get used to the technology and all the good stuff there. So just like you submitted that assessment on what you want to see in the course, which thank you for doing that again, you'll see those accountability pieces as well. And I want those at least the day before, usually because some of the material you submit, I want to be able to use in the following session. So any questions or comments on that? Hey, rock and roll. Coaching Bootcamp, as Michelle shared with you all, I'm no longer having you guess a number. I'm just going to pick you. Mainly because I don't want anybody left out, just because they picked the number that was not the right number. And so today's Coaching Bootcamp is brought to you by the letter J, and the letter J stands for Jen. So because Michelle was on the hot seat 2 weeks ago, and James, you're doing the mastermind today, that leaves Jen. I don't want to leave you out. Yeah. So 5 minutes, Coaching Bootcamp. I'm taking the tally of the time. Voila. Let's assume we've done positive review. Let's assume I'm in it to win it. Boot camp, go.
Oh my gosh, those are amazing positive reviews. Like, it really sounds like things are rolling. You're moving right along at like hyper speed, and just kudos to you.
Thank you.
It's exciting for me as your coach to be able to feed off of that energy as well. So thank you. So let's get down to business. What's, we've got a couple things on the shelf over here that we can talk about, or do we need to just kind of do a one-off today and talk about what's on your heart? Is there something that's, as you are in this hyper speed mode, that's weighing on you, something that you need to get off your chest? Let's talk about it.
I'm loving coaching. I'm doing some awesome things. Challenges for me is for me to justify to continue to pay for coaching, I need to somehow, like, my spouse is super skeptic of the coaching thing and everything that feels woo-woo-y. I love it. I'm a huge fan of this, but I need to be able to convince my family that this is a good thing, that this works. So I would love any tips that you've used with other clients on getting, how do I get my family on board with this whole coaching thing? Because I love it and I would love for them to love it as well.
Right. That it's important to have support, especially inside the home, especially where finances are involved. So tell me some things that you are really enjoying about coaching. What do you feel when it comes to coaching? What do you feel?
I love talking things out. That's my style, and that's groovy. And then I just feel it keeps me focused. The accountability is important. I am possibly investing a little bit too much time, like doing my work, like my journaling, my working on my projects that are coaching projects. But I like it and it excites me. It does, I think, add to the conflict. And I just would like to know, what do I say? How do I justify this for them? Like, I can justify it for me. I'm cool with this. Yeah. So I am enjoying it personally, and I love the talking time. I love the accountability. I love that.
Sure. So this word justifying, what if we switched up that word justifying and we found a way to invite your family into what you're doing? How would that feel for you, as a way to say, hey, I really would like to share with you what I'm learning, what I'm doing, and actually have these discussions with them, so they're not just seeing money out the door and times taken from them possibly, but a way to show them your excitement, bring them into the coaching yourself, and possibly even say, hey, this is what I'm doing. Is there a piece of this that we could do together? Is there a way that you feel like you could support me, or that I could use what I'm learning to support you, so that they feel like they're part of the investment as well? What would something like that feel like?
I like that a lot. So I think, and that's the thing I get nervous about, is sometimes I don't want to be held up to the standard, like, oh, I'm working on this right now, and if I only tell you, then you're not going to rub it in my face. But maybe my spouse is going to rub it in my face if I am kind of slacking off a little bit. So there's that. Right. And that scares me, but I could totally do that. I think that would benefit me. How do I explain what we do? Like I like that suggestion. I'm going to run with this, but I have a brand new question. Is like, how do I explain to people what I'm doing? Like, oh yeah, I'm working with a coach, and I don't even know what to say about that.
Right. Are you wanting to explain to people, or are you wanting to explain to your family, to your spouse?
Yeah, a little bit of both, but maybe my spouse. Like, this is what I'm doing.
Yeah. I think going back to those feeling things, like, these are the goals that I'm wanting to accomplish. Here's some blocks that I've been having personally, and to be able to get outside of myself and get another person's perspective who's farther down the road, and then share how that is helping you. Let them see the results inside of your business. Bring them into those pieces, and taking in a communication piece. And that's something that we could talk about, how to set up that communication, is so that they know that you want to share with them, but they also understand some of your concerns with sharing with them. And we teach a communication tool in the same process. But definitely, I totally just forgot my train of thought.
Okay, that time's up anyway. Let's break it on down. Great work, Jen. Like, and that's, I mean, it's a pretty realistic challenge, right? Especially if you got somebody who's kind of new to coaching, so their family's way new to the concept of coaching, or new to FootZone, or new to whatever you're working on. Like, okay, what do I do with this? So I want to hear, Michelle, first off, what did you notice? What were the tools that she used that really worked? James, you're on deck. And then back to you, Jen. Michelle.
Yeah, I recognized right off she validated how important it is for you to have support in all realms of all areas. It was, it's important to have support. So let's figure out this piece with you. She brought out some other things, like adding to the conflict was how much time you were spending away from the family, so that she quickly recognized, oh, there's this piece here that might not be against the coaching, but more against how much time it's taking from the family and that additional investment of time. I love how she, was like, let's switch up the justifying to invite them in so that they're actually benefiting from your coaching as well, and finding ways to do that. I thought that was brilliant. And asking you how, kind of asking you back, how can you bring that communication tool in more effectively, and having you think about that yourself, because she doesn't know what that dynamic necessarily is entirely. So I thought those were all great ways, and sharing your results, encouraging you to share those results so that they can see, oh, this actually is benefiting me as well. And removing that piece of, I require this coach because they're down the road more, they can see more, they're not partial, they're not, which is, I think, especially with spouses, like at times my husband's is like, well, is this just something I can help you with? No. So I think that's important. Cannot. Yeah. It's not going to be a win.
Yeah.
So
awesome.
I thought those were great.
Great. Yeah, definitely some great techniques. James, what would you like to add?
I really enjoyed I really loved how you noticed the word justification, and that word didn't sit well with you and you questioned it. I like how you pushed back on it. Because sometimes we have like words like, that's not a good word. You've done it with me as well, Jen. I don't know if you remember, but you have. But I love that. And you're saying, can we change that word, because words are so powerful. So other than that, mostly of what, Michelle said, and just listening, because I'm pretty sure Doug was like, this is James's situation, so let's help.
Halfway through, I thought James is totally going to imprint on this.
I'm like, just, okay, so what's Jen telling me here? Okay, yeah, okay, yep.
But you're not the only one in this circumstance,
No.
and I think it passes through to people often. Like, I have a list of 25 objections. We've made it halfway through those objections, by the way, those scenarios. There are many that I see and encounter, and this is just one that's quite common.
Can I share something real quick? That it was
Please.
A very fair question that my wife asked me because of the, the monetary investment, and we might get this as well, is like, is this going to be for the rest of your life?
Wow, that's a great question.
Shawnee has asked me something similar.
Yeah. And I'm just like, I don't know how to answer that. Because subconsciously, yes, there's why, I don't want to stop, you
right.
know? But I was like, that's a good question. So I don't know, something to think about there as well.
It's a great question. My response, because I pay a coach for my business, and I have personally contemplated, at what point am I done?
Yeah.
And I realized, at what point am I done growing as a business? And that's kind of my response, is I guess not. When I'm done growing, then yeah, I think I'll be done doing that.
Yeah.
And I may very easily change coaches at some point, but for my business is concerned, I'm like, I know how I work with somebody who's accountable. Like Jen and I had this conversation. It's like, I need an accountability system for me to follow through. I know me well enough. But I think that's a really good question I never even contemplated, is other parties being like, is this in a singular event, or is this in a lifetime approach?
Yeah.
Couple thoughts, Jen, may I share?
Absolutely.
And then we'll let you kind of take it from there. I agree. Finding clarity of the situation, anchoring back to the feeling. You offer some great solutions of incorporating them to that. And then is when I thought, well, what do we do? I love that you isolated back. Well, who is it really that's having the problem here? But then you gave me a great phrase of sharing with them, hey, this is the goal I'm working on. These are the blocks that I'm currently experiencing. And this is the coach's job to help me get through those. I thought that was a really wonderful line there that just said, here you go. Heading deeper in the conversation, a couple tools that I would encourage y'all to look at is, well, let's get right to the person and what is their behavior matrix style. I will hand them, oh, wow, they're a clarifier? Cool, this is how you want to explain coaching to a clarifier. So as much as you can arm your client with generalized tools, the more specific the tools are, the better. Oh, wow, they're more of a supporter. Cool, let me tell you some really key phrases that drive supporters, you know, that will help them to best understand. So getting to understand their communication profile, you could also go to the Taylor approach and say, well, are they more towards things or they like to avoid things? Because it's like, wow, it sounds a little bit like an avoidance question. So let's talk about how do we share coaching to somebody who's more avoidance mentality versus somebody who's more toward mentality, or reading versus seeing something versus the kinesthetic approach. So we want to really help arm them with tools. And the last thing that I love to do, and I don't personally love to do it, but I love to do it as a coach, is role play. Cool, let's role play it out. And most of the people I do role play with, they don't realize we're role playing until we're in the middle of it. Okay, cool. Let me be your wife for a moment, and actually, you be your wife, and I'll be you for a moment. I'll be like, hey, I'm doing this coaching thing, and for them to hear it one time through, and obviously, I'm going to have a very different approach than them, but they start hearing ideas. And I've had literally a client be like, oh my gosh, will you please just type that whole thing out and just send it to me? Great. I'll type whatever I remember. I'll type it out and I'll get it to you. So don't be shy about role play, a little bit of role play, and helping them to see that it looks easier than it may feel. Jen, taking that all down, what's your biggest takeaway? I would advise thoughts at this point.
Well, once I think I got beyond the oh shit moment, I was like, okay, just breathe, and because really I was like, okay, I know I have tools. I know I have all these new tools. I have 5 minutes. Just go with what you know. For me, just remembering that I have tools, whether or not I know the names of them or not, and to just flow with it and trust things will settle in. And I appreciate the feedback. And it was really great for me to actually talk that one out because I get it too. And we've had those discussions in my house lately as well. And so I think it fits with what's going on in my household as far as releasing and shifting. And so it was good for me to talk that out on the other side of it as well.
Cool. I thought you did a great job. Really great. I don't ever, and for the three of you, I never see your oh shit moment. I don't even hear it in your voice. So if I were your client, I'd be like, wow, way to go, pro. And again, another justification. And kudos to a client that would actually ask you such a question. If they ask you the question, it means they're in.
Yeah.
Right. So really, really cool stuff. All right. So great job, Jen. And let's jump into strategies. So at this point in time, and we'll do a little bit of review. We're moving into the strategy step, the 7 steps to results. And the 7 steps to results is a way that I take a client from A to Z. If we as coaches get them more of what they want, you will have a client for life. And this is simply a system that I help get somebody more of what they want and help it to be trackable so we can advance forward. And with the exception of a few clients that just want to, like I said, troubleshoot, that's what they want. Great, we're going to help give that to them. But the 7 steps to results, I'm going to teach you about how to utilize this on a micro level, small level, and as far as a macro level, a large level. Typically, my consultation is a don't want and a scratch of do want. You'll notice in my consultation call, what don't you want to experience 3 months from now? What do you want? And if I get them to daydream about what they do want and eliminate what they don't want, they're now thinking, gosh, I need some support here. And if that question enters their mind, they're more likely to want to engage in coaching. And the truth be told, it is a sales process. More importantly, it is there to help them. I know full and well when it comes to physical stuff, like with my body and exercise, I am not good on my own. I don't have enough information. That's where a specialist comes in handy. And this is the thing you got to realize, especially if you have any weirdness about sales. If the word sales, reframe that into enrollment or reframe that into a word that makes most sense for you, but notice everything you do, you're selling them or rolling them on a concept. That consultation is so important for them to see what they don't want to do. If you're not the right fit for them coach-wise, that's fine. You've done your job. At least they now know what they don't want, they do want, and so they can go out and find the support they actually need. They will thank you and remember you for that. So the question I asked you was, where would you like to grow? Specifically setting a pinpoint out in the future of October 31st, giving us 90 days here to change something in our business or make something different, new in our business/life. And so we're focusing in on our business so that you have context to put the tools that we're going to be talking about in the next 90 days. Where does your business want to grow? Think about what you want in your life and how can your business help get you there. So if it's like, I just need more peace in my life, great, how can my business get me there? Or I need more time, energy, and money. How can my business help me to get there? Michelle, I have you down for your bronze level as 20 new foot zone clients. Does that 9 take a chunk out of the 20?
No, I thought about that. Initially, I wanted to do that because then I'm halfway there, basically. But this morning, I felt like, no, I wanted to be challenged. So
29 new foot zone clients.
Totally,
right.
yeah.
It would have to be 29 because you got 9 new clients, which would take out of the 20.
Is that what you're saying? You want 29 new foot zone clients?
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So let me interject briefly, Michelle.
I'm in a freak out. I'm in that like, wait,
What?
Is that bronze too much? Like, actually, once I did accountability in check, and then my night slowed down last night, and I crawled into bed and I looked at Gary and I said, "Oh shit, I don't want to do. I don't know." And he's like, "What are you talking about?" And I said, "I sent off my goals, and I'm shitting myself. I think maybe I'm ahead of myself." And he's like, "Awesome."
So are you open to some support here?
I'm open.
You have 3 different goals for 90 days. Why make anything harder than it needs to be? Especially if I told you this, at the end of every goal, you would get actually a huge fire up boost to get you to the next goal.
Yeah.
Why delay that boost? Now, it's your goal. You can choose 29 new foot zone clients. You can choose the challenge. Or you choose 20 and celebrate the fact that since you have been thinking about foot zoning, you have attracted 9 people. I am ecstatic for you because it's only been weeks since you're like, hey, I'm shifting over. Weeks.
It's 10 days. It's been 10 days.
10, it's not a client a day we were talking about here.
Yeah.
That is unbelievable. I would rather next time we talk, you'd be like, I hit it 20, move on to the next, and you get that boost. And that's the thing, is that dopamine in your mind that goes boom, and then you share it with your positive review, boom again. And it's that reinforcer that says, wow, I think we're actually going to be doing this. I actually think that there's no huge catastrophic life event that's going to stop me this time. Yeah. The moment that door creaks open slightly, more possibilities open up. So it's your goal. You choose. I'll support you in whatever you choose, but make sure
that feels good to say a total of 20.
Yep. And then you can always hit the 20 and go to 30.
Yeah, sure.
Or go to 29. Your silver is a 2-week challenge on a Facebook group. I don't know what that means. Will you paint done for us just so we know what that means? Yeah. So I've had it in my mind to do like a 14-day recognize, or like something like recognize your authentic self, like a challenge where every day I get on, I'm giving them a challenge to do. Like it's a separate Facebook group, and this is the challenge for the day, and maybe a little bit of how to do that or what to do, or like I don't have clarity in exactly how to do it, but it's definitely been on my mind. And I feel like because I've been using some coaching in my foot zoning, and that is like coming together really beautifully, I can see that I could encourage my foot zone clients to be a part of this group. And I'm already getting referrals from clients who have never had foot zones that have already sent referrals like the next day. And so I just felt like it was a way to just kind of combine the two and snowball it. Yeah. You got your Soul Zone Facebook group, right? Yeah. And it's time to like get your soul on.
Yeah.
A little piece of advice, 2 pieces of advice. One would be set the date to this, when you're going to start the 2-week challenge, and then start inviting people. Creativity will rush in. Number 2, Jen is a guru at this, as you know. So
Yeah.
I would say use Jen as a resource. Jen, you're extraordinary at doing things like this and creating systems out of that. So those are my 2 things. My advice is start it. And if it's like, I don't know what the hell it's going to be on, set the date, start it, and you will figure it out. And it will be brilliant because it's what you do. Perfect case in point is when you presented your business to the 3 of us and you're like, I don't know. And then you presented it and we're all like, wow, cool. And then your goal would be a 2 to 3 day retreat for women in your home. And that seems solid. So passing through the SMART goal system, just doing the checks here. Is it specific? There we go. Yes. Are those all measurable? Yes. Are those achievable? Yes. Well, it depends on your time and energy you have available. It seems like you've got more time and energy available. Are those realistic? Again, it depends on how much time you have available. And those are time limited because they're October 31st. And of course, achievable, we want to substitute that with action-based. So with that in mind, that checks all the boxes in my opinion. So don't want, do want. James, actually, let's just skip down to the bottom of the page here. And then Jen, you're also on deck here. I'd like to know, what do you want to create in your business? And again, don't compare each other's goals. Don't do it. Whatever is going to serve you the best. And my question to you, and if you've got to have more time, you got to have more time. James, what do you got as far as ideas, the vicinity of, your target for the next 90 days?
I could bullshit right now if we wanted to and just throw it at the wall. But
then you just said that last statement. Nice.
But 100% I didn't do the accountability, and I wanted to give myself a time frame to do it by the 31st of this month, because that would be the 90 days.
Does that work for you? Because I'm comfy with that. How can we serve you and support
I would like to
you?
email you guys, and you guys be my accountability group, and email, because I'm really bummed that I didn't get this one done, because I really like it. I love the concept of it, and I just didn't take the time to do it. So
in your opinion, what got in the way? At what point did you choose to not get this done?
I still don't have a system set up to get this done, to get any type of account. I haven't done accountability in a long time. It's been a while since I've actually worked on something, written it down, paid attention. So again, because I've been so stagnant lately, I hope, and there's this there is a little glimmer of hope of there's movement, and I want to start getting into actually working on things again. So
can I offer a suggestion here?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to say a phrase that might at first be maybe make your skin crawl just a little bit, and it's not intended to do that. And it's an honest question, James. How can we make this drop dead easy for you to do? Meaning, is there a way that's you don't have to formulate a huge email, that you can just say, okay, this is what I want to do? How can we make this drop dead easy? Because what's most important, and knowing where you are at right now in your life, what's most important is, what's the biggest small thing I can do every week?
Right. Okay, maybe just an I did it Marco Polo.
I love that. When it comes to accountability?
Right.
In place of going on the system and logging in the system, is that what you're saying?
Oh, no, in place of, because my idea was I was going to report to you guys what my stuff was. With an email, and so instead it's going to be I'll do it on my end, but I'll just let you guys know that, hey, I did it.
Awesome.
As far as
then
accountability goes.
The next session, I would love to know what it is. So sometime before the next session.
Because I'm here. I'm here. I always come.
It's already blocked out. The time is invested and spent. Okay,
that's the thing.
Love.
That's the thing for me. Being here is not an issue. I make sure that I'm here, but it's outside of being here is difficult for me.
There's your drop dead easy. If you can take the time, you and Jen both right now, to be and then all right, here's my goal. Like, one and done. This is the only moment you've already spent this time. The check has been cashed. So take advantage of this time and not have to like wedge out another ounce of time, you know? And,
but then,
bonus.
But then that takes away from what we're supposed to be doing like now. That's
fair. And you can still watch this. And maybe there's times in the shower you can put in your phone and play a little bit of the recording. Regather some of the things, you know? And I just want to make it drop dead easy. And there are times where it's like, hey, Doug, will you give me just an overview of what I'm supposed to do? I will polo that to you all day long. Great. If you want to crack it down, here are those two things. I want movement. I don't want perfection from you. I want movement.
Agreed.
I want to support you, be it slow or as fast as you want. I believe that you've got to be kind to yourself in this process. And that's where I'm going to say, make it drop dead easy, James. So right now for you, if you had to decide, what would it be? Like, James, the boat's leaving, you're already on it. Yep.
Yeah, so I just want, I want to continue coaching. So my bronze would be, you know, keep my 2 coaching clients that I have right now.
Right.
My silver could be get 3, and my gold could have 4.
I love it. How does that feel?
Simple. Yeah.
Let it simmer. That's all I'm saying. Because that's really what you focused on 2 weeks ago is I don't want all my clients to go away.
Right.
I do want 3 to 4 people a month. That's it. And have some balance in my life and that I can enjoy myself and enjoy the things I love. So I think that fits very well.
Send that to me, Doug?
2 weeks ago. What's that?
I don't know if I actually wrote that down. What I do want or what I don't want.
I did on this 3x5 card. So it wasn't ever emailed out, but I did write down.
Don't want and do wants? Okay.
Yeah, just from, you know, and Michelle, it's like, I don't want to be in the same place. I don't want to have no website and no retreat planned, no clients. That's awesome because you're already like supercharged in that.
Retreat plan, clients,
I want to replace my income and expand it. And I want to feel peace. I feel like, Michelle, you're on point there. So yes, I wrote these down. I like it, James. I want you to play with just keep 2 clients, increase to 3 clients, increase to 4 clients, and let it simmer for a second because it may be 2 clients and the next level is 3 clients, and then the gold would be 3 clients plus
something else.
Really cool D&D time where I'm just really enriched. You know what I'm saying? Personally, just feeling awesome. Because I get that you may be here just like, I just want to continue on. I just like what's going on in Mastermind. Cool.
Yeah.
Let's just formulate a little stretch goal. All right, Jen, what do you got? Bronze.
I wrote down scheduling.
Love it. Okay, so I am a big fan of scheduling for you. And did you want to focus on 3 different areas of your business, scheduling, or scheduling at 3 different levels?
Dude, right now, I have so much shiz going on and like all these juggling balls. I'm not even exactly sure. Let me close this door.
Yep.
Everywhere.
That way nothing bounces in, you know? So I have on the Coaching Business in a Box, the bonus section, I have one thing that I created to help me balance my schedule, a suggestion for you, because it's basically 6 a.m. to like 10 p.m. all 7 days a week. And you'll see in there how I blocked out family time, workout time, sync time. One suggestion for you, Jen, would be set a schedule and then follow it at 20% success, 45% success, and maybe like 60% success. Like I am on task to my schedule this % of the time. Just having that compass in your hand will generally get you more northbound than not having a compass and just like guessing like, okay, where the hell the mountains are. And like, you know what I'm saying? That may be a suggestion to play around with, but just Sunday night, it could be bronzes. Every Sunday night, I just set a schedule and post it on my wall. And then silver says, then I start following it at 30% success rate. And then gold is, you know what I'm saying? If that is your linchpin, scheduling, because the freedom that scheduling allows me is, okay, let me see where I can put you as a client. as opposed to, oh, you need my help? Great. And I still do that. Oh, you need my help? Okay, great. I'll do that right now. But I'm more on schedule than off schedule. I have a compass. So that's what I'd love for you, is a compass for your true north. And part of the scheduling in the bonus section of Business in a Box, I also have a sheet that says every week, you want to reconcile, your credit, you want to check your credit card to make sure there's no fraudulent charges. You want to look at your schedule, make sure your clients are taken care of. You want to get on Facebook and do these things every week. It's just my checklist to say that, and I don't get them all done. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't get them all done, but at least I know what I should be doing every week, and I'm orienting towards true north. So the bonus content in Business in a Box may be a place you want to start with. Okay. Because it's all about like just general like cleaning up. It'll also say, once a month, you're going to want to reconcile your bank statements. I don't do it every month, but I know I should, and it's on my checklist, and I'm reminded to it, or you know what I'm saying? So that's what I would love for you to play with, and then I'd love to find out what you've decided by the end of this call.
I think for me, it's more about, in most things, I have a pretty good idea of what needs to be done. It's just finding the blocking moments and the days that I want to do particular things and sticking to it. Like setting up that feels good and then doing it. Cool. And you just said something about shifting and it's gone. I have so much of that going on right now. I can hardly focus.
Cool. So I want you to hold on.
Here, a lot of shifting out here, and I really am just feel like I'm treading water.
And would scheduling benefit you in this shifting business that's going on right now?
Or is it a should?
No, it's something that I feel like is important to do, because that way I at least have those time blocks and I can say, I'm not available right here. It's more about me sitting my fanny down in this chair and doing what's in that time block.
Fair. And don't go for perfection. That's just not realistic to life. And I would agree. Like if it's a should, scratch it off your list. But to me, I want you to think about Indiana Jones. The ground is falling out beneath him. That's what's happening, or shifting right now for you. We need a compass that says, I'm still headed this direction. And I like it because a schedule tells you what you get to say yes to and what you get to say no to.
Right.
So we're now scratching into the next step of the 7 steps to results strategy. So hold on to the energy, the three of you, of your goal. Hold on just to the energy alone. Like, this is what I want. And now you're already entering into strategies. This is where it's like, okay, we got to create an action plan with the strategies that we believe are most likely to create our desired result. Because I can tell you all day long, okay, James, this is what you want to do. You're going to want to get on Facebook, and you're going to want to brand yourself. You're going to want to do this. Jen, you're going to sit down every Sunday and you're going to do this. Michelle, this is what I want you to do. I want to block out the time. But I don't know your lifestyle. You've got to actually brainstorm strategies that you feel like will most likely get you to your goal. Me, if somebody says, go to the gym 5 days a week for an hour every day, I'm like, not going to work for me. And it really gets down to this quote. I believe I shared this 2 weeks ago. I'm going to share it again. James Clear. Without hard work, a dream, strategy remains just a dream. So we could have a great strategy, but if we're not willing to work the strategy, but this second part I love. Without a great strategy, hard work becomes a nightmare. Jen, you and I could be cut from the same cloth. My lifestyle, that firefighter, I work so freaking hard, but without a strategy, I got nowhere. And when I have a strategy, I can see myself advancing forward, and I'm like, ooh, I'm hopeful. And this is where the second side of the 7 steps to results. And I'm going to tell you this: when I'm coaching individuals, I will pull up this same PDF and walk them through. Now, it's different for every person, but I'll even walk them through and then send them a copy of this to say, hey, we only got 3/4 of the way through. I want you to finish the rest. And then we'll continue on our next coach call. I mean, this one sheet alone could occupy up to 3, even 4 coach calls. Think about how much money that is worth right there, right? That's 2 months worth of work, 1 to 2 months worth of work. And they will, in my opinion, in my experience, are like, gosh, we are doing some crazy good stuff here. But the questions are uniquely designed here. List the top 10 actions are most likely to get you to your goal target. Most likely. And then this question I love the most. what are the top 3 actions or skills that need the greatest improvement? Michelle, what's one skill you know right now needs the greatest improvement? Meaning for you, there are certain things that you do that's easy. That goes on your top 10 actions above. But what's one skill that you know that is going to stretch you the most because it's the less rehearsed, the less practice skill for you?
It's consistent Facebook campaigning or promoting.
Okay. How could you build that skill? Meaning, is there a coach? Is there training? Is there scheduling, reminders on your phone? Like I put suggestions down here of how we can improve. Is it taking a course on this? How do you think you could build consistency in Facebook posting?
I thought this was part of page 1. Like I thought this was all one that we were supposed to do. So great. Facebook campaigning is on there for me. And so my strategic plan for that is actually dedicating a time each week. And maybe, I know Jen has said something that she like schedules them. So she does it and schedules them so they just post automatically. So I think Jen would be a good resource for me to figure out like, how are you doing that? In what ways are you doing that? And being able to do that, as well as like already having a plan to promote to get more people to come for foot zones, that kind of thing. Because I feel like the foot zones is the snowball for the next piece for the next piece. And that's why it's really not 3 separate goals. It's a snowball goal.
Oh, I love it. Okay, can I add to this? I would say to Jen's point, pre-scheduling, because if I've got an hour right now or half an hour right now, and I schedule at least the next week right now, that's sexy. I have an app called Moxie on my phone. So for those Apples, I'm sure it's on Android. I'm sure there's other ones. Moxie.
M-O-X-Y or
correct.
I-E?
M-O-X-Y. This is how I pre-schedule all y'all's texts. I brainstorm it all in one moment, and then it sends me a reminder of like, hey, send James a text tomorrow at 11:23. And I look at it, I get emotionate in that moment of like, ooh, this is good. And then I hit send. So it's not like automated. I see it, I feel it, and then I hit send, but it tells me when. Cool thing about Moxie is I can choose one of 3 things: a text message, an email, and social media. Moxie is pretty damn awesome.
So you schedule that in advance, like you can put something in there and then it sends it at the correct time?
It sends it at the correct time, but you have to still initiate it. It doesn't automate the send. It automates a reminder and says, are you ready to send this? And you just say, yep.
Okay.
Then it posts.
Okay.
So you still got to be present in the moment of sending, but.
No, I love that because I've thought about with my foot zone clients, when they come here, we always have some things that they want to work on or reminders. So even if it's just a shift that we had, I'd love to send a text that says, you know, what would it feel like to feel worthy or whatever else, just a little reminder that they get from me out of nowhere that they're like, what? She remembered me? Like, oh, that was like just that touch point that other people don't do.
Yep. Stop. Automate and listen. This is the way of the coaching future. I'm serious. And automation doesn't have to take out of the emotion because I still see it. I still feel it. I still think of you. And then I hit send. That's the cool part about this. It's free to a certain point, but then there's certain features once you add on. I think it's a couple bucks. It's an app, for crying out loud. It's pretty awesome. I have fully automated texting systems, but it's for mass text. What's the #1 skill and action that you need to improve on? Jen? What's the muscle that's the weakest when it comes to scheduling for you? Is it doing the schedule? Is it saying no? Is it saying yes? Is it looking at your schedule? Is it knowing what things I have to schedule? Like, I don't even know what the hell to schedule.
I think it's feeling too scheduled. Like having my schedule be so full that I'm like, like then I'm no longer treading, I'm sinking. Okay.
So there's something about this. You've got to originate your scheduling, which would be very cool product, by the way, the Rebel Schedule Guide. Like when you find and solve this solution, you market that and you sell that, people are wanting this. I don't love schedules, but I love the freedom that it provides for me. So you got to find your piece of that pie. And maybe it might be worth just sitting down and brainstorming, like, what is my ideal system, pathway to peace? Because I'm going to tell you, there are many on the planet like you. The Rebel Schedule, TM. There's some crazy things I'm learning right now that I'm excited to share with you guys when it's time for you to expand crazy, that I'm like, nuts crazy cool. Biggest skill that you've got to take on, James? What needs the most improvement for you to be able to keep your clients and grow them?
Energy right now is like a thing for me of like, I don't have it and it's being taken away in different places. So the skill is, yeah, it's like, how do I feed energy? How do I provide things in my life to like give me energy so that I can give some of that energy to my coaching business? That's what it is.
I love like this visual, like the Energizer Bunny. Like I am in charge of my energy. I decide where it goes and how and where I refuel. And I know that it's not always the case when you're a parent and you're a husband. We've already written those checks of energy out, but where can we recharge better? And who have I not written checks to that I can still say, it's just not a win, sorry.
Yeah.
And energy management, I want that to be like, do a little bit of meditation, journaling, and research on like, okay, how do I do this? Because your clients need the answer to this problem that you're currently facing. Like they need it and don't even know how to ask for it. Fair?
Mm-hmm.
So this sheet here is the work you've got to do, team. Action-based goal, it's only if my target is so numbers driven that I don't know what to do. So this box here, the action-based goal, I put it on here because some goals need both the target and the actionable. Meaning the target is I want to lose 30 pounds. Well, the action items here would be I consume, 1,200 calories and I'm drinking 80 ounces of water and da-da-da-da. Those are the actions within my control that would help influence the target. But most of what you are all talking about, your target is the action in and of itself. But this is where we check specific, measurable, action-based, and so forth. Ultimately, we've got to examine safety. But before we move into safety, we want to have a plan that makes sense. This is my plan for launching Coach League Grow Academy Level 1 from very start. What has to happen? How do they flow through? This is the simple version. I have a very complex day-by-day version. But I bubble map things because I need to have the bubble map. I have this same thing printed in my office and I'm crossing out things as I travel through the map itself. It keeps me on course, and because I'm a visual person, I got to see where am I at in this map, what's got to happen next. You choose what works best for you. Attached to this today's module has my 6 steps to map out your goals and get there faster. Full permission to walk your clients through these 6 steps. What's cool about these 6 steps is once I, as a coach, have them, I can ask them, okay, where are you at in the map? And what little bubbles need to change? All of this is movable. But if you don't have a map, how do I help you stay on track? And so this is where I'm going to encourage you to take whatever is at the top here of all these strategic actions that I've got to do, plus the skills I've got to change, and start throwing them down on a bubble map. Now, for some of you, like Jen, yours is rinse and repeat. It's just a circular map. Every Sunday, I got to do this. And I've got to, every day, I start my day by just looking at my schedule. What's got to change, what's got to move and grow. But for at least right now, you've got to actually create a new system that works for you, that follows your gut and your heart, not your head. Your head's going to get you in trouble in this one. James, energy management, it's going to be more of a circular chart. Where Michelle, yours and mine are a little bit more linear, like this. And if you have questions about it, open up that PDF and it walks you through every step, how to do this process, step by step by step. James.
Is this an alternative to results radar? Kind of like how Taylor model is kind of an alternative to behavior matrix? Just like a different way to look at it?
The 6 steps to results is a plugin. So basically when I get somebody to their strategies, page 2, it's now great. Now let's take your strategies and bust it into something visual.
Okay.
Because some people are satisfied with these actions they've got to do, but sometimes an action I've got to do doesn't happen until 8/6 here. So I don't have to think about that until I get to the week of August, you know, the first week of August. So this is like a plug-in. And for those who are visual, it's really sexy. For those who are not, they're just a laundry list and dates when those need to be done or started is very helpful. And the guide will tell you a little bit of like who needs to be involved in what step of the process. And not every one of my clients do I create this for them. It's just a guide to help for those who have a very specific goal and they're busting a move. All right. Ultimately, once that is done, they're not committing to the goal because you have to still ask them, how do you feel about this? Because it's safety that helps overcome resistance, procrastination, and sabotage. That's why that question at the end is, what's the number? And I'll get to that back here in a second. Are you going to travel this long road in a Geo Metro or in a Honda Accord? If somebody told me I've got to take my husband and my son to Florida in a Geo Metro, I'd be like, I don't feel good about that. Same thing is true about the plan. This is why I put in the 7 steps to results, the results radar. What's your number one concern or fear that might come up while going after this goal? Until you solve this concern, you don't even take a step on action, because that concern will likely sabotage the action. Only then, when we talk about safety, then you commit. If you can't commit, then we go back to safety and say, well, what's going on in your plan? If there's a problem with safety, like, there's too many things here, it doesn't fit my lifestyle, or I just can't get out of this funk, then we go back to a strategy. This is why, James, for you, when you're like, oh, I'll email everybody, I'm like, I'm not buying it from you. I don't think you feel safe to do that. So I said, let's make something drop dead easy. We went all the way back to strategy to rework your plan. So before you can commit, I want to make sure I trust that you can commit. Then and only then do we take action. All right. So let me share with you a quick coaching tool on 7 steps to results. And then we want to mastermind, and accountability is just 2 steps forward now. So if I were in a perfect case study, is I had a client who simply, they're a vice president in a large organization, and they had to fire somebody who they promised 2 weeks earlier that they wouldn't fire. And it's like, Doug, I need your help. So I was like, great. You know, I have to fire them. My higher ups say it's time. They're not cutting the bacon. They're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. I need help. So I said, great, let's talk about this conversation. It's happening this week? Yes. Great. What don't you want to experience in this challenge? So now we're going to the micro level. I'm just going to walk them through it. Cool. And they shared all the things they don't want. Oh, I don't want them to be explosive. I don't want them to melt down. I don't want them to have this emotional reaction. I know. And how likely is that going to happen? Yeah, very likely. Okay, cool. What would you want instead? I just want them to know that I cared about them, and I really did want to keep them on, and I really did want to grow them. I want them to feel hopeful, like to keep the do-wants within reality here, right? And then I'm like, great, cool. Well, let's talk strategies now. And we went through the course correction conversation. We went through the situation benefit impact, the SBI, which we'll talk about as well. We role played, but basically, okay, what strategies do you already have? And she is just like, I just want to share that I care about her. Great, let's lead in with that then. And coaching brainstorm, coaching tools. And then it's like, great, well, what's your number one fear? Even with those strategies, anything else that we can't see right now that might come up before or after, like, what if I chicken out? Or what if her number one fear is that she would apologize. I'm so sorry, this is on me. And that's not what she wanted. When she went back to her do-want, she wanted to feel like she had a solid conversation. So we said, great. And we set up some safety mechanisms. In fact, I told her, if you apologize, you owe me $100. And it was enough for her to be like, okay, got it, right? And only then was we follow up with those questions of, how do you feel about this experience, the plan that you've made? And do you believe it will work? And at that point, yes or no. If no, we go back to safety, we go back to strategy, and then they commit. Of course, they take action on their own, and then, oops, too far. The evaluation is just hopefully the next coach appointment. What worked, what didn't work. So here's the 7 steps to result in one conversation. It took me 40 minutes to go through that with her on the phone. It was a solid coaching experience. I told her exactly what we were doing. We're going to go through the 7 steps to result. You don't have to, just guide them through the steps. Some pretty cool stuff happening there. So these 7 steps to results, may it be a coaching tool for you to help people to get more of what they want. All right. So we have now 3 minutes plus 30 seconds to do our mastermind. Just to remind you of the rules. The captain, who's James here, is going to present a challenge. We as a team will have 3 minutes to brainstorm ideas. I don't care if they're good, bad, and ugly. We're going to be sharing with James just ideas over the top of each other, even possibly. And he's just going to be writing them down. Again, I don't care if you duplicate somebody else's response. Like, oh, I was going to say what Michelle says. Say it anyway. All right? Because bad ideas begot good ideas, in my opinion. Then after that, James is going to take 30 seconds and just basically say, hey, this is what I really gathered from all of that. We're not going to take offense if he doesn't share that our answer was brain like blowing for him. He's just going to say, this is what I'm going to do. Okay? So with that in mind, James, tell us what the challenge is, and then we'll start the 3-minute clock. What's the challenge you want us to blow up for you?
I did a uh-oh on a call the other day where I offered a discount price to my clients so that they could keep coaching potentially.
Okay.
So
why is that a challenge?
So the challenge is how do I pitch what I feel that I'm worth?
Okay, you ready? Any questions for him before we start?
Yeah, any clarifying questions?
So you already offered them a discount, or you
Yeah.
offered to give that? Did you already clarify what that discount was?
Yeah, I went with my gut in the moment, and that wasn't a good plan.
Did you share with them what your normal rate is at that time?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, cool. All right, good, awesome. Ready to brainstorm?
And clarify. So $50 a month is my two coaching sessions, and I said I would offer half off at $25 a month. It was an
sessions, 25 total, right?
Yes.
And what are you I'm unclear about this has already happened. So what is the challenge
This has already
now?
happened.
Uh-huh.
So how do I fix this? How do I not do this? Yeah, how do I not do this? How do I have confidence so that I can charge what I think I'm worth? Yeah.
Good clarifying questions.
Ready? Any others? Are you good?
I think so.
Okay.
All right, 3 minutes on the clock. How do I fix this for the future? How do I fix this in the present as well? Jump in.
What if you said that that's a 60-day trial, or 30-day? I'll allow this
30.
for one time. Yeah.
1 month introductory.
Yeah.
Right.
It's with the current client.
Right.
Yeah.
And you wanted to keep them and you lowered the rate, or it's a new client?
I wanted to keep them and I lowered the rate.
Fantastic. This is where I'd also say, hey, I already shared with you what my current rate is. I want to keep you on. That's why I'm doing this. And I'm wondering, no obligation, if you could help me out with something. And then put them to work. It may simply be, hey, would you be willing to write me a testimonial? Or I can be able to do this until the end of 2020. So set a time frame.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, more ideas?
I think that for my foot zoning, my rate is $80 a session. And I did that because I know family and friends, I'm willing to do $60 a session. And so putting at, hey, this is the least amount I'm ever going to take that in your head. And so then when discounts are requested, this, I don't take any less than this. If it works for you, it works for you. If not, just for now, it's not. Like, be clear that you're okay if it's not that client that you keep right now, to open up space for a new client.
Yeah, someone who is willing. Like, you have to trust that you're that valuable and that other people will see that in you and want to be there, but you have to have space for them. I also really like my pricing goes through an email. I don't necessarily have to talk it out and deal with those emotions face to face.
Future rule, I love that. A future boundary. I always send it via email, so it gives me some time. James, there comes a time in your situation right now, you just got to eat it. And I would tell you this, pay yourself. You get to pay yourself $25. So where you would normally spend $25 on something you would enjoy, I want you to actually make up the difference. Meaning take $25 out of your own bank account and put it somewhere where you wouldn't normally spend it. So pay yourself. Does that make sense? Like,
so I have to pay my business because I gave a discount.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Meaning pay you what you're worth. And I know it sounds weird. It's like I'm taking it from something I would really enjoy, maybe buying a really cool new game. I want you to feel like, oh, wow, like I have to make up that difference. The truth is you are actually spending money on that client. Item number 2 is surrender to the fact, like, lesson learned. How am I going to reinvest the lesson into my life?
Well, and there may be other ways to keep that client that aren't monetary, that just intentional touching base, keep them in your pot without them being a client?
Coming up with ideas that say, if this client is only able to afford this investment right now, what are some other options? Well, we can't have some personal one-on-one, but I can send you some text messages, or I can send you some emails. You know, giving the effort for what they're allowed and able to invest in.
Piggybacking on that, I would say, hey, after thinking about it, I really want to keep you. I really want to support you. And unfortunately, I haven't been able to find a win. So one coaching appointment per month plus text, I can do. Would that work for you? Ultimately, you got to know your line in the sand. If you're just not willing to give them up, then you eat the price, you learn the lesson, and you move on.
Maybe a coaching session with Doug, a personal coaching session, so you can help identify why you have a belief of your value.
30 seconds. What do you got for us, James?
Finding a way to make a trade.
Ooh, sassy. I love that. I love Mastermind because it just like more good ideas come the longer we're in it. James, what do you got?
So writing, okay. Pricing always go through email. I want to make that a rule, that I don't ever bring up pricing in a coaching call, because I just love people too damn much. Not just I would give away my services for free because I'm self-sacrificing in that way, right? So that one. And then also, I love this, what's another way of thinking, where was it? Sorry. Yeah, making them do something for the discount. If it's a trade, or if it's like, you know, I try to make that work. It's not a win for me, being honest with it. And so, you know, maybe it's not 2 one-on-ones, maybe it's one-on-one with text messaging, things like that. So, but biggest thing is definitely the rule.
Love it. That's a lesson learned. That's money now back in your pocket. If you learn that lesson, it's worth all the money that you just discounted. Jen or Michelle, who wants to take the next mastermind? I'll give you 2 weeks to just kind of think about it.
I will.
Okay, Michelle, you're on the next mastermind. Quick announcement. I've already shared this. Tomorrow, I'm running the 5-minute coaching solutions, the #1 skill to effective leadership. Basically, it's a training on asking powerful questions, plus a freebie that gives a whole bunch of ways of how to create and construct powerful questions. There are 2 separate sessions. They're the same sessions. You don't have to attend both. 10 a.m. Or 6:30 p.m. If you're interested, jump on that. All right?
Is it 10 or 11? Your thing says 11.
I said 10. I meant 11. Let the diagram speak and not me. Thank you. 10:30 a.m., 6:30. How you register? You could go to leadershipintegration.com and just go to podcast, and there's a register button for either the AM or the PM and any of the future ones. There's another webinar in between these two that is the five vital steps to all results, which is going to be an awesome one as well. That's going to be next Thursday. And then later on, we're going to be doing another video podcast with special guests on authenticity. Here are your momentum for the week. 1, submit your top 3 actions or skills that need the greatest improvement in order to achieve your October target. This will be a hard enter in. These are the 3 things I need to improve upon. And that way we know as a team, like, okay, cool. Or I know this is what you are really focusing in on improving. The second item is share with the group on Marco Polo. What's your #1 concern or fear that might come up? And what's one strategy that would create a little bit of safety for you? So just literally get on Marco Polo and say, hey, here's my #1 concern about my goal. And this is one strategy that will help maybe alleviate a little bit of that fear. All you got to do is those 2 things. #1 is submitting, entering it in, your 3 things. #2 is just going to be a yes or no on the system. You check the box.
Marco Polo.
Marco Polo. Easy peasy. Any questions? The recording will be loaded probably by the end of the day, or at least by tomorrow. So if you want to go back and review any sections of today, you'll have that available to you. And onward and upward, congratulations on today. We'll be moving into lever of a life next. How do we leverage motivation? More fantastic questions. And we'll be doing that for ourselves in our own business. If you have any questions, Marco in or send me an email or text. Thank you so much.
I will send Marco by the 31st. I think that's the 31st.
We'll
by Friday. Just
cool.